You don't always need a data warehouse in order to improve your maintenance reporting, but you do need to understand where you're stuck at and a path forward to how you can improve your current situation. Some teams have got a data problem. They've got a load of spreadsheets that are updated by different people. They've got hidden formulas, they've got macros, they've got VB code that have been created by people that have left the company ages ago. And every time you update these spreadsheets, you need to double and triple check them just to get some trust in the KPI numbers. Other teams have got a different problem. They've got perhaps visibility, they've got some reports on Power BI, they're looking good, but every Monday morning they keep on going over the same issues. The same things crop up and nothing ever seems to change. There's no improvement in the maintenance strategy, there's no improvement in efficiency in some of the other KPIs that we tend to measure as maintenance professionals. That means they've got visibility, but are they actually doing anything with that data? Have they got control? In this video, I'm going to introduce you to my maintenance intelligence maturity model. Now, it's a bit of a mouthful, but it's actually a really useful tool for helping you understand where you are now and giving you some practical steps to improve your maintenance reporting. And it helps you to see a path forward and also reduce the overwhelm and the confusion that comes with what do I actually need to do next to make some practical improvements in the way I'm reporting and the way I'm using my data. Now, if you want to use this tool, we'll cover that later in the video, but for now, I'm going to cover just one little misconception that I think is really important. Now, you might have seen one of these models before, and they tend to focus on the data. So Excel's bad, Power BI is better, a data warehouse where you're connected to the actual source and you've got a star schema and a data model that's really robust is the best. Okay, and that is true, but it doesn't need to be the case if you've got a low budget or you're just getting started. You can still make massive improvements without spending loads of money to get to the gold standard. Now also, this is only half the picture. You might have the gold standard, you might have a data warehouse, you might have numbers that are trusted, but what do you actually do with that data? Now, I've seen teams, and I've been in a situation myself where we've had some brilliant reports, we've trusted the numbers, but we haven't really had the structure in place to actually do something with that data and drive it towards creating actions that we can do so that we're actually improving the things that matter to us. So are we making things more efficient? Are we improving our maintenance strategies? Are we reducing costs? Are we acting on the right backlog and making sure that we're reducing the risk? So what we do with the data is arguably more important than what we actually and than how the data is structured. Now, I'm not going to say you need one or the other, because if you've got great data and you do nothing with it, then that's a problem. But also, if you're using the data and you're making decisions, you might be actually making decisions and creating actions on things that are inaccurate because you can't really trust the data. So both are an issue, both need to be improved, and I'm going to talk you through how you can actually do that with a maintenance intelligence maturity model. Okay, so here's a tool here, and you can see it's got an X and a Y axis, and on the Y axis it's got the data infrastructure, and that's split into 4 sections, and then along the X axis it has got 4 stages as well. Okay, so we've got levels and stages. Now each of these are designed to help you understand exactly where you are within the overall journey, I guess, if we want to use a cliche, from here at the bottom to here at the top, perhaps. Now, it doesn't mean to say that you should all strive to be in this state here. That might not be appropriate for your organization. So that's the absolute first thing we need to understand, is that your place on here is going to be appropriate to your organization. So let's start off with the data infrastructure first. This is really designed to answer the question of trust. Have we got the processes and systems in place that we can rebuild our KPIs, our reports, our metrics, and have complete trust in the numbers? Okay, so it starts off at level 0. So that's the bottom. That's if you're starting off from scratch and you're building a new reporting system. Something's triggered you to do this and to get started, and it might be that the reports are so much in that corner there that you can't trust the data, and the data spread all over the place. You've got Excel spreadsheets that are stored in different locations or maintained by different people. We've covered this a few times. Okay, so if you're down at the bottom here, that is where you are. You're in a bit of chaos. Then you move up to level 1. Now, level 1 is where you've actually learned how to structure your data in Excel properly. Okay, you're not using Excel for everything, from a reporting tool, from a data transformation tool, from a data store with messy tables and formulas and such like. You've got now a clean setup in Excel. You've got some processes that people understand where you can populate that data on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or even a daily basis, probably a bit too much, but you've got some processes in place. You've got tables that are stored in the data, and you've started to talk about or think about something called a star schema, which is dimensions and facts, which we cover in our training course. So if you want to see some of the aspects that we're going to cover here that's going to enable you to get up through these levels, then I've got some training courses and they're available in the links below. But for now, you've got the data, it's well structured, structured and you're starting to develop a little bit of an understanding. You might still be using Excel as the reporting tool, but you've got some control now. Okay, so next is level 3, the Power BI decision engine. So this is where you start to use a reporting tool. Like Power BI, it doesn't need to be, but we're going to use Power BI because that's a tool that I've used to and it's a journey I've been on and it's what I understand. And this is where you're actually now starting to pull the data from Excel into Power BI. And your Excel stores the data stored in hopefully SharePoint or somewhere else that is on the cloud. It's well structured and there's some controls you can put in place to make sure people don't mess with that data because it's important that it doesn't get changed or only gets changed by the people that understand how to change it and when to change it. But you've got Power BI, you've started to create these dashboards, they're starting to look good, you've got the drill through to the detail, you're able to control who can access them, you can create some apps, and you can share the data readily with your team, your executives, with the technicians, or anybody that needs to see the data. It's a real distribution platform, and that is going to be a major step change. Okay, level 1 is that level 2 is a massive step change. The data structured, and now you can share that data, and you can get all the beautiful visualizations that come with Power BI and the ability to manipulate the data, etc. So that is the second level, third on this scale here. And then we've got the data warehouse. Now, this is where you've got an enterprise data warehouse. This is where you need a data engineer, okay? And this is where you definitely need to get IT involved. Here, IT is involved and they may be there just to help you get the authorizations that you need to be able to access the tools that you need, like Power BI, like SharePoint, maybe the Dataverse. But in the next level up, you're going to have to get a data engineer, okay? Now, as maintenance and reliability professionals, you can take yourself so far, and that's what the courses cover that I've got. It takes you as a planner or as a maintenance analyst or as a technician, a supervisor, anybody within the realm of maintenance to a point where you understand how to use Power BI and structure the data. But if you need to make this step change, you do need to get IT involved because it's data engineering. You need to connect to the data warehouse, to the source systems. You need to pull that data automatically. You need to structure the data properly. You need to have some routines in place to spot errors. And that is a step change there, okay? But once you've got that in place, it's really, really powerful because the data is all automatic. There's no exports to Excel, even if the data is structured, it's automatic. It's seamless in most instances, and you've got data that's pretty fresh. Okay, normally once a day, or maybe a couple of times a day, or even maybe once a week, whatever the extract frequency is. But the data is all stored. You can create snapshots, you can look at trends and all of that good stuff. Okay, so that's the first level there, and that is all about the data. Okay, now people think that is all the be all and end all. It's about getting your data structured. But next we're going to start looking at the performance loop, and that's going to be about how we actually use this data. Okay, so the second dimension is called the performance loop. So this is what you actually do with the data. It's a little bit about what data is captured as well. So you start off where you've got you start to develop metrics. Okay, so perhaps you've got a document that has got an outline of what your actual KPIs are and how they are measured. And you've got to get those standardized, you've got to get them agreed, and you've got to make sure that everybody understands what the actual value that's being measured is, what's the calculation that goes behind it. So getting a bit of control over your metric. And then you've got the diagnostics. So the diagnostics is an important distinction. So measuring something and defining something is really important because now you've got a figure and something you can look at and something you can track over time. But then if it's not meeting the KPI target or threshold or whatever it is, you need to understand why. What's the diagnostics? What's the root cause? So a couple of examples is perhaps you're measuring schedule attainment, you've got the processes in place to capture it, you understand how much of your work has been achieved each week, how much of it isn't, how much break-in work you've got, but you don't understand is why is that happening? Okay, is it because the we had a change in priority? Was it an equipment breakdown? Was it because the work wasn't properly scoped? There's a multitude of different reasons why you could miss a job within a week. In the same way, a break-in job. Why did you break into the plan? Why did you break into the schedule? Now, once you've got that, this is moving you to stage 2. Okay, so you're starting to collect not only the KPI but also the reason why, the root cause, and these are codified and you can trend them over time and you can understand, and this is a deeper level of diagnostics that you can use. And another example could be stock outs. So you don't have enough stock. You start to reason, why is it that the case? Was it not delivered in time? Was there not a PO created? Do we have the min-max limits set to their proper values? So there's lots and lots of KPIs that we as maintenance professionals, and reliability as well, capture. We've got the KPI, but we maybe don't capture the reason why or the root cause in some sort of codified way. Okay, so that's you moving to this stage here. We've got this diagnostics, and then you've got the action. So this is stage 3, and the final stage is where you actually take action. Okay, so you understand the why, and it's now talking about the what. It's well documented. You can assign an owner, you can track who it is, what the action is going to be to improve that metric, and you can track that over time. And that becomes the basis for the conversation the next time you have a performance meeting. You maybe got a weekly measures meeting or a monthly measures meeting. That is absolutely the thing that needs to be discussed, and understand what actions you've got and who they're assigned to and how you're getting on with those and what assistance you might need. Now, if you do want to make some progress in these stages, and I'm going to tell you how you can actually go and find out where you are on this matrix just in a second. But if you want to make progress, I've got 2 courses that you can use, and I'll leave a link below. The first course is all about building this section here, the data infrastructure, up to this point here, level 2. Okay, don't cover up to level 3, because this is all within within your domain. You can learn as a maintenance professional if you've got a little bit of I would say, interest in this. You don't need you can start from scratch. I'm going to show you how you create the data stores, how you actually go and create the Power BI reports, how you get them published. That is going to be enough to get you from this level here to this level here. So have a look at that one and see if it's something you'd be interested in. I've also got a free report that's going to get you part of the way. Okay, so that's in the website as well, link below. And that's going to get you an understanding, what am I about? Do you like my teaching style? Is it something you're interested in? Okay, so definitely sign up for that. It's free, it'll be 90 minutes, you'll get your first report, and you'll be well on your way to getting yourself from here to here. Now, the other thing I've got is a performance management course, and it's going to take you along this bit here. Okay, so again, check it out. I'm not going to go into too much detail just now, but that's going to be basically something that's going to be really useful if you want to set up this performance management process. Okay, again, using Power BI, using the tools that are available there, but that's going to get you getting that whole thing set up there. Now, if you want to know where you are now and and some practical next steps to move you to an improved position, you can go and take this pretty straightforward questionnaire. It's at this location here, maintenancedatapro.com/MIMA2, and you'll come to a page that looks like this. It might have changed because I do tend to change it time to time, but go here, stick your name in here, stick your email there, and basically I'm going to go and offer you up 12 questions. Answer them, multiple choice, it's going to take you less than 3 minutes, and then you're going to get a report emailed to you straight away. Okay, and that report is going to look a bit like this, and you're going to basically get a report that shows you where you are, shows you where you are in the actual matrix, explains the level 1 and level 2, what this means, what it looks like, and it's going to give you some recommendations. Okay, so that's all going to be available for you to go and actually get for free. Okay, and I give you a little bit of a leg up to send you on your way. And once you've made some of these changes, you can actually go and take it again and get the next stage, and it'll take you through the different actions you need to take to allow you to improve your maintenance reporting. So hopefully this has been useful for you. Hopefully it's something that you can take away. It's give you some food for thought about the 2 dimensions. And if you've got any comments about what this is, whether you agree with it, where you think there's other dimensions, then it'd be great to hear what you've got to say. I'll talk to you in the next video.